Hey guys, are you playing the Vienna opening yet? Because if you're not, I really want to encourage you to try this out. I've got a gorgeous game to share with you just now. My opponent's rated 1482, and we have e4, e5, obviously I'm playing white, and knight to c3. Now this doesn't look like it's that different to playing your knight out to f3 or whatever, but I don't know what, for some reason this opening just gets such sharp, sometimes sharp, attacking, aggressive games. So we have knight to f6, which invites the Vienna gambit, and f4 takes e5. Okay, now if you are playing black, the best move here by far is to play d5 and line up the pawns like this, okay? And that's actually better for black. Takes is not good because you have e5 and the knight has nowhere to go. Knight retreats to g8. Now knight to f3 is important, taking this square away from the queen. And we have d6 now. I reply with d4. So look at the fact that black has spent two moves bringing his knight out to f6 and then sending it all the way back home. Just look at the delay in development that black gets here. Okay, so he leaves the tension in the middle of the board and brings the bishop out to g4, pinning the knight on my queen. I grab the pawn on f4, why not? And we have pawn takes on e5. Now, there's three options. I could take with the pawn, which might invite an exchange of queens. That might not be the end of the world. I can't really take with the knight because bishop takes queen, so that's out of the question. And the other option is bishop takes. I decide not to take. And that's always, whenever you've got a piece in front of a king, okay, I decide to put my queen on e2. So now I'm actually attacking this pawn 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 times. And the pawn can't capture the bishop because the king would be in check, can't capture the pawn because the king would be in check. If queen was to take the pawn, I've got queen takes with check and we have an exchange of queens, and that would be absolutely fine because I've still got 3 to 1 pieces out in the board. So black now plays his knight out to c6 and I now decide to castle long. What's nice about this is it puts my rook straight on the d file, so I have another defender of this pawn. Now we have bishop takes and I recapture with the pawn. Yes, I am isolating 2 pawns. Okay, but I have to maintain the pin on this pawn because if I'd recaptured there with a queen, black could have captured my bishop. All right, so here we are. So I'm a pawn down at this point. My gambited pawn, remember when he took on here on f4, I haven't recovered that pawn yet, but I've got 3 pieces out on the board and I'm castled. All right, that's worth 5. 3 pieces, castling's worth 2, 5 development score. Black has 1. Okay, still can't capture my bishop. So he grabs this pawn here now, but remember the knight was also the only defender of this pawn, so I was quite happy about that. Knight takes that, queen takes e5, check. And what can black do now? He's going to lose the knight. He can block with the bishop, he can block with the knight. He could, in theory, block with the queen, but that's going to just lose the knight as well. So he blocks with the bishop, and I capture the knight, but with the rook here, rather than with the queen. I didn't want to trade off queens necessarily at this point. But now I've got ideas, maybe bring my bishop out somewhere, double up my rook to here or even to here, and it's just absolutely crushing. Okay, so yeah, and obviously rook takes means that the queen is under attack. Queen has nowhere to go other than b8 or c8, so the queen goes back to c8, and now I think for a while, over 2 minutes on this move, and I do play queen takes g7. Now, what I was expecting is bishop to f6, and this is a pattern that you must know. Okay, bishop to f6 here. The bishop is attacking the queen. The bishop is also x-ray defending the rook. So the queen can't take rook because bishop takes, right? The rook is defending the knight and the knight in turn is defending the bishop, okay? So you get this triangular protection thing going on. And that's what I expected black to play there. And then black surprised me with queen to f5, which was just weird. Having said that, yeah, no, bishop there, I can't play queen there. Bishop there, I could have thrown in a check with the rook, and then, yeah, it's going to be difficult to defend. I mean, if the king moves away, I can move my queen to here. Yeah, look, very, very difficult there for black. So queen comes out here now, which is odd, and I grab the rook. Now rook comes across to d8, which is, I think, is a blunder, because queen now takes knight. Bishop blocks, and now this is a very common deflection tactic. Rook takes rook with check, king takes, and I take the bishop. Okay, so I've deflected the defender of the bishop away. But here still, it gets kind of interesting. Now, this is the worst move I think that I played in this game. The engine actually gave me 99 accuracy in this game, which is remarkable. I'm up a rook and 3 minor pieces. Okay, however, there is a danger of losing the game. This knight move, I'm not quite sure what the point of it was. Because, well, I mean, I simply lose the bishop there, and there was no reason to lose the bishop. Okay, now I move my king because I'm in check, so I move my king to one side, and what I think black should have played here is queen takes pawn, threatening the rook. Okay, but then queen takes pawn. You see, I don't have a check with the bishop because queen just takes the bishop. I can't take this pawn because the queen just takes my queen. It's actually quite a tricky situation. And there is a risk of, like, queen takes the pawn there. Let's say I move the bishop out. Queen's attacking my rook. And that's actually checkmate, almost. You know? I could find myself back rank mated while 3 pieces up in material. But black didn't play that. Instead, he just pushed c6. That allows me to play bishop to h3 because the queen didn't take that and wasn't guarding this square. And look at this situation now. This is remarkable. The king can't go there or there because of my knight. Can't go there, there, there because of the bishop, right? And can't go there, there, or there because of the queen. There's only 2 moves. He has to block. Bishop takes, queen takes, and that's done. And my opponent resigns. So let's just explore and pull up the game report. 99.2 for white, 39.8. No blunders or mistakes on my part, weirdly, but 1 missed win. So let's run through this. This is all book. Well, that isn't. I mean, obviously that's not the best move to capture and accept the gambit. You should play that, as the engine's telling you. And it's saying it's d5 very slightly better for black. Okay, e5 is best, obviously. Knight to f3 is best. d6 is best. d4. This is an inaccuracy. Should have taken on there. Okay. Lots and lots of best moves here. Queen to e2 is best. I'm happy about this one. Happy about this one. It's also getting ready to castle, which is great. Inaccuracy. And white is already +3 here. This is what an opening this is. I just love it. Bishop takes, pawn takes is best, good. Knight takes is a mistake. Now white is +7.5. Best, inaccuracy. Ah, I should have blocked with the knight. That would have saved the knight. Yeah, good point. But then you would have lost the queen to a rook. Huh. Okay. Now the knight is lost. Capturing with the rook again, best move. Now this is +16. Queen takes d4 was better. Wow. Now no human would really play that though. Okay, queen takes g7 is best, and I'm +16 now. Okay, now. There is no, it's not even suggesting here bishop to f6. Queen moves or c5, possibly. Queen to f5 is the best move here. Wow, interesting. So actually giving up the rook. Rook to d8 is a blunder. Yeah, because it drops the knight. That's best. And drops that. Okay. Now it says we have mate in 6. King to d7 is best. Okay. Now this is a missed win. Bishop to b5 check. Bishop to b5 check. Okay. So the king's in check. Can't go here, 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 here. Or there, or there. So there's only 2 moves. Either push the pawn or king to e6. So let's just work this out. If bishop b5 check, king to e6 would have been played. Okay, was better. Rook to e1 check. King to f6. Queen to h6 check. Queen to g6 to block. Bishop g5. Whoa. King to f5 again. And now bishop to d3 is mate. Wow, I mean, that's some calculation. But that's what computers are good at, eh? But yeah, so fascinating game. And those are the kind of games that you get. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pull up another Vienna game that somebody sent to me today. And I should just show you, and in fact, I'll show you a couple of examples. Wait there. Okay, so here's another Vienna. 5 moves. My opponent is rated 1264. Okay, e4, e5, knight to c3, and a very quiet a6. I mean, this is just not. I don't know. I don't think that's necessary at this point. Much better off developing pieces. Okay, so bishop now out to c4. Copycat. Queen h5. He's not looking at what his opponent's doing, is he? Queen takes f7, checkmate. Okay, I played that one yesterday. Very nice, very simple win. Okay, this one was sent to me by Stricky77. This one's a much longer game. It takes 6 moves. Okay, knight there, and now c5. Huh? It's kind of Jalalabad version or Orthoschnapp version. Okay, and now Stricky plays queen out to h6. Knight comes out. f4 now. And here, and now the bishop comes out, and boom, again. Boof. Straight, knocked them straight off the board. And that was 1100 versus 1066 there. So, man, at every level, you've got to be playing this opening. I mean, it's just so good. Let's just check the Explorer. Let's look at the history. When I have played as black, so my games as black, okay, we'll flip the board. Whenever we've had e4 and I've played e5, which has been how many games? I've played e5 665 times, okay? How many times have we had knight to c3? 28. So 28 times out of 665, all right? So that's what? That's less than 1 in 20. So it's about 4% of the time. In my journey from like 1,000 to 1,500, about 4% of the time you get the Vienna game, right? And you've seen how aggressive and violent and effective it can be. If your opponent really knows what they're doing, yes, there is a solid line to play, but not that many. And it is tough to play against. It's just tricky, particularly if you get the gambit line. They have to know what to do. But we also get this wayward queen line as well. You know, if I so with this, I mean, I've got videos on this one. But if they now play their bishop out to here, that's quite common. You play your queen out there, and you get a version of like the wayward queen attack. You can bring your bishop out here, again targeting f7. There's the same kind of risks with the wayward queen. If they push a pawn, then you've got a fork on king and bishop and rook. It can just be all over very, very quickly. So, you know, if you want to build your rating, and if you enjoy aggressive, tactical, sharp positions, then the Vienna could be good for you. If you get nervous and anxious and don't enjoy those kinds of things, and you'd rather play more solidly, then ignore it. Feel free to leave this one alone. But I'll tell you, I'm just having so much fun with it. So I'm gonna keep plugging away at this and keep encouraging people to play the Vienna, because it's just great fun. All right, there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.